A new all-time high in Bitcoin incoming, or is it really? On today's episode of That Crypto Show, I want to separate fact from emotion, look at the charts, look at the sentiment, and talk about what really needs to be in place for a new all-time high to come in already today or maybe this week. So stay tuned, I'm going to see you in 20 seconds. Hey guys, welcome to today's show. I hope you had a great couple of days. I'm sure you enjoyed the recent gains of Bitcoin. So this morning when I entered my office, I was greeted by a plethora of emails telling me something to the likes of, Dirk, there's a new Bitcoin all-time high incoming. Is it happening now? What shall I do? How can I behave in this type of market now? So very, very emotional emails. And if you've watched that crypto show a number of times already, you know I always think like emotions and tradings are things that do not match very well. That's why I want to sit down today. Video is not going to be too long today, I promise to you, but I want to, try to unravel the puzzle for you again, try to point out the facts really, apart from the emotion, that need to be in place in order for a new all-time high to really happen either today or maybe in the near future. Near future, I'm saying here, could be already this week. So before we start, guys, why not leave us a like, leave us a subscribe. That is very much appreciated and helps us to continue to give you great free content like this. Thanks a lot. So let's start by having a look at the chart first. And what we see here clearly is that we had some very nice days again. Maybe first of all, this zone here from 58,000 to 60,000, as I said multiple times before, really is a great zone of support. So every time we dive into this, and I mean, we tried out this zone in the past 2 weeks for really a number of times, there is buying activity again. But then on the upside, we saw in the past 2 weeks with 63,000 kind of was a barrier where the market struggled a little bit. So today, finally, after the close above the 63,000 here yesterday, we managed to break out to the north. And the question, of course, now is what is going to happen next? And I said a number of times already, one thing I'm chart-wise always looking at here are the Bollinger Bands. Not as a mean of a technical indicator itself for trading, but what it can show you at the moment is how's the volatility doing. And whenever you see the Bollinger Bands squeezing like this, and by squeeze I mean they are coming very close to each other. And the same setup we had, by the way, here end of June. And this is a setup we traded by the way back then. And the setup led us from 30,000 to 45,000 back then. We are normally bound to have a breakout either to the north or to the south. And it looks a little bit to me at the moment like this is exactly what is happening. So it seems like we are seeing that we are seeing a volatility squeeze here to the north. But in order for this to really be a volatility squeeze, we would need to pass the last all-time high here at 67,100 US dollars. And in order to do so, we would not only need to surpass it, we would need to close above it. And we do so with a lot of momentum. So ideally what we would need to see is a nice big green candle like the one we saw down here, or like the one we saw down here, indicating, there is a lot of buying power in the market with a lot of volume and closing above the all-time high. This would be extremely bullish. And if this would happen either today or one of the next days, that would make me very bullish too. And I would say that looks like 70,000 or maybe 75 or even 80,000 is soon inbound. And remember, I mentioned this also quite often here. There is this target of Plan B of 98,000 for November in place there, and November only has like 22 days left. So if we're seeing this target also fulfilled, and he was right about the other ones as well, we are bound in for really some squeezes to the upside. On-chain metrics also, by the way, speak the same language. I updated this last Wednesday. If you have not watched that video, I'll leave a link for you up here so you can re-watch it, pointing also in the direction of north. So we're going to update this, of course, again for you on Wednesday, but I'm pretty sure there's not so much that has changed. I'm going to get a chance to look into this probably tonight or tomorrow. Sentiment, which is always the second important part, is at the border between greed and extreme greed. Now, whenever we go into the extreme greed theory, I become a little bit cautious. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that immediately the market needs to turn. It can also stay in the sentiment of extreme greed or at the fringe of greed and extreme greed for quite a long time. So as long as it doesn't go to 90 or 95 within 24 hours, I think it's on the safe side. So the question really remains, what is causing the surge in buying at the moment? And I kind of have my theory on that. If you've been a lurker on Twitter, maybe, if you are following people on Twitter, and I highly advise you to do so if you are trading, not necessarily to get trading ideas, but to get a better understanding how the general market is thinking at the moment. So, and I saw something that is from 2 days ago, so from Saturday, where Elon Musk made a poll about whether he should sell 10% of his Tesla stock. And the way Elon Musk is always, he said like, okay, whatever the results of this poll are, I'm going to abide by the results. So he's going to follow the results. And this is very interesting. And I've then continued to read on Twitter. There were people saying on Twitter and on Reddit, hey, probably he's going to use the money from selling his Tesla shares, there 10% of his Tesla shares, which is billions and billions of US dollars, to buy Bitcoin. Now, I don't know wherever that theory comes from, and it's a bit far-fetched, very far-fetched in my opinion, actually, but you can see sometimes the momentum things like this and bush talk like this can have on the market, especially when we're talking about Elon Musk. And we've all seen in the past the influence Elon Musk can have on the market when we dropped from our previous all-time highs here around 64,000 down to 30,000 from May to July. So seems like that it's a bit of wishful thinking, like okay, Elon Musk is if he's going to sell really his shares, he's going to put his money into Bitcoin. I personally don't think so, but this is how the market works. Buy the rumor, sell the fact, and this is a grand example of this again. But again, on summary, and as I said, I don't want to bore you with too many redundant news today as well. What we need in order to really break out to the north and see 70,000, 75, 80, maybe even 90 or 100,000 incoming would be a strong move with a solid green candle with high volume and a close above 67,000 US dollars. Then I would be totally on the side of, yeah, this is happening now. I personally expect this to happen sooner or later, but I wouldn't be surprised if this still will take maybe a week time and happen around the 15th of November, or generally speaking, mid of November. But again, I also could be wrong. The market could be wrong. It's very biased into the north direction at the moment. So this is always something to be cautious. So I say this every time to you, but I mean it. Remember to use the stop loss to secure your positions, to secure your winnings, because there's nothing worse than having a position already 20, 30, 40 or 50% in profit and then still losing money on it. I'm going to see you soon again. Until then, stay safe and have a good day. Bye-bye.